Hi, this is Steve Adelman from Adelman on Venues with a hot take from an incident that took place just last night on the Texas-Oklahoma border in a town called Thackerville, Oklahoma. In order to get the basic facts, let's go to the statement by the spokesperson for the WinStar World Casino. At 5 p.m., WinStar World Casino and Resort officials began evacuation of the outdoor concert venue after observing that lightning was within 4 miles of the casino. All patrons in the area were asked to move and to seek shelter from the storm. However, about 150 patrons who were standing in line for the Backstreet Boys concert did not heed the staff's warnings. A half hour later, at approximately 5:30 p.m., the storm hit and knocked over the concert entrance trusses with 70 to 80 mile per hour winds and heavy rain. 14 people were treated at the scene and then transported to local hospitals. 2 have already been released as of Sunday morning here in Arizona. Those are the basic facts. Now, we know that everyone has a legal duty to behave as a reasonable person under the circumstances, and in this case, that legal duty is to do a reasonable risk calculation. So here it is. Risk equals vulnerability times consequences. That is the standard formula for calculating risk. On its face, it sure looks like the casino gave a reasonable risk assessment in the sense that people were outdoors, they were vulnerable to a storm. If they got hit by lightning, they would be exposed to serious personal injury or worse, and so thus the evacuation was called, and all but 150 people were successfully moved. Looks like the casino did great. However, there is some dispute about that because there was a tweet by somebody who was in line saying the warning was given for lightning, not for falling structures or for high winds. Nobody out there, including myself, was afraid of some lightning. Question whether that's a good idea or not, but that's what they said. And we all thought that the structures around us were secure and not a danger even in high winds. So here's the question. Who was behaving reasonably under the circumstances of a severe weather threat? So the casino says we had accurate information from the National Weather Service. We activated our severe weather action plan in plenty of time to evacuate everyone. We know it was plenty of time because all but 150 people got away, and the 150 who didn't, well, they made a conscious decision to ignore our warnings, and so they, the casino would say, were behaving unreasonably under the circumstances of people who were warned that severe weather was coming. On the other hand, the patrons would say, you have a 12,000-seat outdoor arena. You knew that we were waiting, we at least at the front of the line, we were waiting since Friday for a Saturday night show. It was a general admission show. So if we weren't the first in line, we weren't going to get close to the stage, and you know that. And so we made a calculation based on the information that you provided us, the patrons would say. And the information that you provided us just told us about rain or lightning, not that we could get trusses falling on our heads because of wind. And so the patrons would say, we did a reasonable risk calculation based on all of the information that the venue either knew or should have been reasonably foreseeable, which includes that people who have been waiting overnight for a Backstreet Boys show will be very reluctant to give up their hard-earned place in line. On its face, and I will admit that when I first saw this story, I thought it was a slam dunk for the casino. And I still have my very serious doubts about the patrons' side of the story. But my point is, there are arguments to be made on both sides using the standard risk analysis arguments that we make all the time, that everyone has a legal duty to behave reasonably under their circumstances. We know what the risk calculation formula is. Risk equals vulnerability times consequences. And so using these tools, we now need to know more facts. And so, as in all of these cases, it boils down to the facts, what actually happened. And so, this is a hot take right now. More facts will come out. And as we learn them, that will help us determine who was behaving reasonably under these particular circumstances. I'm Steve Adelman. This is Adelman on Venues.